Hey guys, welcome to the Gang Stalking Playbook. In this channel, we explain the truth about gang stalking, dispel the myths, and help targets restore their perceptions back to normalcy. My name is Efrain Rodriguez Guerrero, and in this video, we are going to cover some tech scam. The reason that we are covering a celebrity tech scam is because it is relevant to the topic of gang stalking. Victims of gang stalking have this narrative of directed energy weapons pushed on them, where 5G, microwave radiation, amongst other types of sources of energy can actually be harmful to the target. This video that we're about to watch is by Linus Tech Tips, and this video pretty much is a demonstration of how science fiction is turned into science with the intention of making a buck. Just like the entire narrative of targets being harassed with directed energy weapons is false. Let's start the video.
I've been wearing this amulet, and I've got to say, I've never felt more at peace. This is the Aries Tech Life Tune, a device trusted by legions of celebrities and athletes to protect them from the dangers of 5G devices and radiation. Backed by peer-reviewed research.
So notice, backed by 5G devices and radiation.
Oh God, not that one. There we go. Backed by 22 peer-reviewed articles, there's apparently some serious science behind these things, and okay, no, I can't do this anymore. But it is true. We're constantly surrounded by more and more technology that is emitting electromagnetic radiation, and there are some credible sources that suggest that it can be bad for you. So let's demystify the woo-woo the proper way, with science.
So here we go. So we're going to demystify.
We are going to fully.
We're going to demystify
And there are.
With actual science the whole theory of 5G, of all these false narratives that are of directed energy weapons that are being pushed on targets of gang stalking. Last summer I used to listen to my music on blast on my front porch. I was gang stalked, I believe, so bad I had to stop. Shit. You know, the reason that they keep making those dirty looks, Sam, is so that you keep thinking about gang stalking. The goal is to keep you thinking about gang stalking as much as possible, so that you start seeing it everywhere. That's how they make you obsessed with it. What you have to do, if that ever happens to you again, is to take your focus out of the people. Don't focus on the dirty looks that they're giving you. Just hang out and don't look at them. Listen to your music. Go on TikTok and actually enjoy the time that you have on your porch. Do not make the activity of gang stalkers your priority, because then you are actively going to be looking out to see if someone is a gang stalker or not. You're going to be seeing, is that person giving me a dirty look? And then perhaps you might be enticing one without even knowing it. So what you do is that you simply focus on your own train of thoughts and keep your mind in a good place. You have to stop giving energy to the gang stalkers. And by energy, I mean attention. Where attention goes, energy flows. Okay, so here we go.
There are some credible sources that suggest that it can be bad for you. So let's demystify the woo-woo the proper way, with science. We are going to fully investigate this thing with our EMF chamber, our CT scanner, and our RF meter. Some serious equipment that costs some serious money. Maybe more seriousness than this deserves. And we're gonna do it with some help from our sponsor, Hetzner. Their object storage solution is S3 compatible and grows with your data requirements, all at a great price. Click our...
Sorry, Hansner. Thanks, but no thanks. Oh, by the way, guys, this channel actually makes really good content, so I'm going to put a link in the description. If you guys are interested, it is Linus Tech Tips.
The first thing I noticed about wearing the Aries Tech Life Tune is how much of a conversation starter this thing is.
Dennis asked me about my necklace. I said it protects me from 5G.
So your phone will, you don't get 5G, will be 4G, 3G.
Huh. I said 5G. This is a fake.
Linus, you got scammed.
Yeah, that is a pretty good point, but we'll talk more about that later. First, let's narrow in on exactly what claims celebrities are making about the Aries Tech amulet.
And as you know, airports are places full of Wi-Fi and all sorts of evil energies. Think of all the phone.
Is he
Evil energy? That's the same type of thing that gang stalkers are trying to convince targets. You know,
Taking the piss. I actually haven't seen any of the marketing for this thing.
I'm not entirely sure. He's definitely serious about a bit of it.
I didn't even bring any socks or toothbrush or dog meat or anything like that. Just complete.
What?
You should get one as well, particularly if you're planning to go to an airport anytime too soon, because the bloody things are full of lethal signals. AirsTech, a glorious amulet to protect you from corrupting signals.
Yeah, I bet comments are disabled. But
For real.
dog meat.
I feel relieved to know there is at least one person who understands where I'm coming from. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here for you because it's an awful experience. It really, really is. And the fact that you just feel alone most of the time because no one really talks about it, and yeah, it's literally having a bunch of flying monkeys trying to destroy you, trying to steal your things. Someone is trying to F you in whatever way they can, which is insane. Of course you're going to be paranoid. It's normal. You have it. I wouldn't even call it paranoia. I would call it justified suspicion.
Aside, what we can glean from their website and from their press materials is that AirsTech believes that electromagnetic radiation is bad for you, and with this $240 US, please tell me
That's insane.
we didn't buy it.
Oh, we got 2 of them and 2 small ones. It was over $800.
Oh,
But with this $240 US amulet, you and your nearby loved ones will be protected. But let's back up for a second. What is
that is freaking insane, dude. It's like a little sticker. Do you guys ever see the bracelets that that baseball players were wearing like 2015, maybe like 2007? The bracelets with like a little hologram. I still swear by it because I wore one and then the guy made me lift. So like I was at the gym, right? And they were like $20 and it was like a rubber bracelet. And the guy had like a weight. It was like a 15-pound weight. He was like, lift it. So I lifted it. And then he put a bracelet on me. And he said, lift it again. And him without saying anything. I lifted it and it felt lighter. Like the weight felt lighter. And I tried the same thing with a client of mine. And she was like, oh my God, this has actually worked. Which was the craziest thing ever. But they just worked. They worked. It actually worked. And I showed other people and the thing worked. I don't know if it was real or not, if I got scammed, but when I tried it, it simply worked. It was these, watch. It was these. Like this pretty much. And it actually, like, when I tried it, it worked for me, which is the craziest thing. But, like, I don't know, it was weird. But I did a test and it worked for me. So, I still, it was only like a little hologram, Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about magnetic radiation.
electromagnetic radiation, and why might you want to block it? Well, in simple terms, electromagnetic radiation is a type of energy that's all around us and that takes many forms, including microwaves, X-rays, and gamma rays. It can also be used for communication, and in the past, we used very slow radio waves that operate at about 20,000 hertz to maybe approaching a gigahertz in some applications. But the thing is, with modern technological advances, you now have many devices in your house that operate well above the gigahertz range, with many others operating well into the hundreds of terahertz range and outputting several watts each, including this. That's right, my friends. Another word for electromagnetic radiation is
light.
Light. And given that you're probably okay with having light bulbs in your home, you should probably be okay with having a Wi-Fi router that is actually outputting at a much lower power. But
So it's like light, but it's invisible, I guess. It's interesting. But look, we are already like under constant radiation, literally, like at our house. So one thing that I find funny is when people pull out the freaking EMF reader and it beeps and they're like, oh my God, see, my cat is being attacked with EMF. And it's like, no, the cat has fur, which creates static electricity. But people are always going to try to, people that are convinced of gang stalking, because you're convinced of it, you are actually going to start looking for evidence, which is exactly why we have to, well, not that I have to convince you of anything, but I have to show you consistently and continuously that directed energy weapons are not a thing. And like, even though they might exist, even the highest officials in the military have never seen them before, only have heard of them, FYI.
it's not quite that simple. We need to dig deeper. In 2011, the World Health Organization added radiofrequency electromagnetic fields to their list of things that could possibly be carcinogenic to humans with a 2B classification. Organizations like AIRSTech will point out that that puts radio waves in the same category as things like lead, exhaust fumes, and weapons-grade tungsten. But
That's crazy.
what they fail to mention is that it also includes things like aloe vera, ferns, and pickled vegetables. Now, to be clear, investigating if radio waves
Plants, dude. Plants.
are bad for you is good work, and it should happen. But a meta-analysis of 300 studies by the Swinburne University of Technology in Melbourne concludes that radio waves basically aren't harmful at
Has this ever happened to you? Last year, 2 teenagers, both on different occasions, took my photo. Yeah. And I've actually seen the picture snap, and I have seen pictures of me that other people have taken on the phone of someone that I only met once. So yeah, people are taking pictures of you. Yeah, but look, why are you gonna be a paranoid if people taking pictures of you? Make sure to look hot AF all the time. That's it. Make sure to look as good as possible so that the pictures that they're taking, at least you look hot in the pictures. Like, I'm not kidding, Sam. Like, do your best to look as, like, for real, if I was getting gang stalked from the beginning, I would make sure to look my best. With what I know now, I would actively just try to look my best all the time. Like, hair done, the best clothes I could find. That's exactly what I would do. It's like, what are they going to get from your pictures? The whole thing about taking the pictures of you is to make you paranoid, so that you're thinking, oh my God. So like, when someone is like that with the phone, like, what is the worst that they're going to do if they're taking pictures of you, Sam? You know what I mean? Like, what are they going to do? They're going to share it with people amongst themselves, But, the moment that you look really good, they're not going to want to take pictures of you because you look good. They only want to see you. They only want to take pictures of you to share amongst themselves if you look like shizzle. Seriously. Like, look as hot as possible every time you go out. And they're not going to want to take pictures. I promise you that. Because they only want to share pictures where you look destroyed or distraught.
lower intensities. But even if they're not, there's still a lot that we can investigate about the AIRSTech LifeTune, like, is it able to block RF? Well, given that it casts a shadow, we can conclude, yes, it can. Okay, sorry. I'll take this seriously for a second. Here, Alex.
That's interesting. So it's like, does anything actually block RF? Let's see. Can we make those claims on anything? Watch. Yes, he was right. He made sense. He was right. Yes, RF radio frequency radiation can be blocked or reduced by various materials and methods. Conductive materials like metals, particularly copper, can create a Faraday cage, effectively shielding against RF waves. Additionally, radiation absorbent materials, RAM, are designed to absorb RF radiation distance from the source, and using safer technology options like wire connections can also minimize exposure. So metals, Faraday cages, radiation. I was thinking just like your hand or something. The safest thing is distance from the source. Huh, that's interesting.
You take the LifeTune, and I'm going to hold this. This is an RF meter, which tells us the intensity of radio frequency electromagnetic radiation around us. So our current readings are somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.3 to 1.7 volts per meter.
So notice that there is always electromagnetic radiation. People that are targeted and that simply get their RF meter, their RMF, hey double O, and get their RF meter, and they start like using it because it detects radiation. They're like, oh my God, look, I'm being attacked with a directed energy weapon. But no, literally light is freaking radiation. Like, people don't understand that. Like, even static electricity will bring up a reading on an RMF meter. You know what? It also may have been a year ago. I was in the streets doing things I wasn't supposed to, and one day in May last year, I left the street and people I knew I was, so it was my new area. And people I knew, I left the street and people I knew and moved, so it was a new area. What do you mean? Hey Alex, what's up? What do you mean, Sam? I don't understand. So you know what? It also may have been a year ago. I was in the streets doing things I wasn't supposed to. In the streets doing things you weren't supposed to? Like, what do you mean? Supposed to. And one day, in May last year, I left the street. Oh, you were in the street doing things. Okay, I get it. And people, so when I moved, I got messages from people that I hadn't even talked to, and that were like, you moved? And they say, how do you even know? You're not even in the state, which is insane. Meaning, I get what you mean now. I understand. So yeah, I get it. So yeah, when I moved, I literally had people message me and they were like, you moved? And it's like, you don't even live in the state. How do you know? Which is insane. It's really, really insane. Like, people from out of state knew that I moved without me saying a word about it. People are keeping an eye on you. And that's the truth.
Alex, come closer. Aries Tech advertises that the LifeTune has an effective range of...
That's what all of this started happening to me. That's what... When you moved, like as soon as you moved, things began happening to you?
32 feet. That's why I sent Alex over there. Now that he's closer, we should... Oh, it actually like kind of spiked for a second, and then now it's the same. Obviously, the Aries Tech didn't do anything.
So what's happening? Have you to detox to end it? We just basically ended. I got down like 80%. Chismosos. Laugh out loud. A detox is gonna help you with gang stalking. It's detoxing from people and from substances, and taking care of your mind and your body. With that in itself will actually take care of gang stalking.
For real EMF blocking, you need something more like this. Our EMF chamber with a 6-figure cost. As you can see,
Who's a charlatan?
when we go in here and close the door, and yep, that works. We're down to millivolts per meter now.
Okay, so what?
But EMF blocking, you need something more like this. Our EMF chamber with a 6-figure cost.
Oh.
As you can see, when we go in here and close the door, and yep, that works. We're down to millivolts per meter now. But that's only because we unloaded all of our RF emitting devices, which is why my audio sounds so bad right now, and only because this chamber was built by Raymond EMC, who has made an entire business out of building incredible RF blocking chambers like this one.
That's crazy.
These chambers are so carefully engineered and assembled that a single screw that's not tightened down could compromise the entire room.
There's actually businesses that focus on this. That's freaking insane. Not you, the guy saying that there's rats in here. There's rats everywhere. But there's nothing you can do. Just, that's why you have to be really careful with people.
And to seal it, we need a door that's made with beryllium copper contacts and a fiberglass handle. It's worth noting, by the way, guys, that being in here does not magically make you feel better. Even though this is really what they're trying to achieve with nonsense devices like the LifeTune. So knowing what we know, it was pretty clear that the LifeTune was not going to work for blocking RF signals. Like, we even got this model that's apparently designed to go on your phone. And yet, my phone still has reception. About as conclusive a test as you could ever need. But to keep our minds open, we reached out to Aries Tech to get their side of the story. Their explanation for how it works. I mean, celebrities that get hit in the head for a living couldn't be wrong about this, could they? The transformation of external radiation, both technogenic and the biological object inherent radiation, occurs in accordance with the direct and inverse Fourier transform with the formation of a coherent matrix of EM wave superpositions.
Wait, what?
As a result, the process of resonant harmonization in a coherent environment of external radiations that differ in nature, the transformation of technogenic EM radiation to a form that does not conflict with the biological object is achieved. Moreover, the transformation does not affect the functioning, I can't even do this anymore, does not affect the functioning of the technical devices.
It's all going to cook. But I mean, you're selling stickers for $800? An amulet and 2 stickers for $800, and all you need to do is sound like you know what you're talking about. That's crazy. That's the same thing that happens in gang stalking. I have some more things about that I need to show you guys, by the way. How can one pretend to have knowledge if you know the F?
Generating the EM radiation.
What?
No. I'm not finished yet.
Oh.
A coherent transformer can be placed on the biological object.
So, does this sound familiar? Does all of this sound familiar? Look, I'm gonna show you something. Look, so this is to sell you something. Hang on. Look, pay attention to what this guy is doing. So all of this is information, helpful information that is supposed to help you understand the thing that you paid $800 for. So these people paid $800.
still has
for
reception.
those stickers.
About as
All right?
conclusive a test as you
For
could ever need.
sci-fi stickers.
But to keep our minds open, we reached out to Aries Tech to get their side of the story, their explanation for how it works. I mean, celebrities that
The explanation of how their amulets work sounds exactly like when gang stalkers are trying to convince you that directed energy weapons are real. Like watch, listen to what this guy is saying.
get hit in the head for a living couldn't be wrong about this, could they?
This is directly
The transformation of external
the company.
radiation, both technogenic and the biological object inherent radiation, occurs in accordance with the direct and inverse Fourier transform with the formation of a coherent
cowboy.
matrix of EM wave superpositions. As a result, the process of
so like when you start listening to it, you start getting sleepy. You start getting sleepy because it's so much to process that your mind gets tired just listening to
resonant
it.
harmonization in a coherent environment of external radiations that differ in nature, the transformation of technogenic EM radiation to a form that does not conflict with the biological object is achieved. Moreover, the transformation does not affect the function.
Like it's absurd, right? Like you guys are listening to it, and now
I can't even do this anymore. Does not affect the functioning of the technical devices generating the EM radiation.
What?
I'm not finished yet. The coherent transformer can be placed on the biological object.
and now watch this. Hang on. Yeah, it's gonna be here. Yeah, exactly. It's they're being con artists. Oh come on. So it is a con artist. Yeah, exactly. But that is actually coming from the company that gave them the sticker. And watch. So look at this. So this is book. So they were literally conned onto buying amulets. And let me show you the amulets while this finishes loading. So watch. So while that's loading, what's the name of the amulet? It's this one. And really news, look at how ad infested this is. We're trying to like find a freaking picture of the freaking amulet, and we literally just got sent to a website full of ads. That one is 5G. Here we go. That's it. So it's that little amulet. So I forgot. All the ads literally made me forget why I was gonna show it to you. Okay, so we already listened to what they were being told, right? And look, so we already listened to the explanation. Look, it's incredibly similar to when they tried to explain to you all of this. Like they're trying to get to precise. Look, listen. Precisely modulated microwave radiation is used to influence brain function. Human behavior and reactions can be entirely controlled by using pulse-modulated microwave radiation. Pulse-modulated microwaves are useful as a carrier for the mind-controlled signals, as they are able to pass to the skull, which is rather resistant to low-level EMF. So as we go through this, when you're reading this, it gets crazier. Neurological research has found that the brain has specific frequencies for which volunteer. So it is all pseudoscience that just sounds gobbledygook. It's meant to make your mind tired, and they give you the little images. But then, like, listen at this. Let's listen to it. This is a scan of the specific brain emissions. Brain emissions. Like, what are brain emissions? Is it brain emissions a thing? Oh, shoot, that's actually a thing. So that's true. Brain emissions. I guess. My bad. I'll give it off when the victim vocalizes using an array of pulse energy. Fire at the specific brain centers of the subversive while he resides. Like, how does brain emission have to do with subvocalization? Using an array of pulse frequencies. Fire at the specific brain endures the center of what? Let's ask. Oh my God! I'm gonna ask AI to like rephrase this. Let's see. This is actually super interesting. Let me see if it. Oh, wait, hold on. Is it tab? Shift? No. Control? No. Oh no. It. Hang on. Oh, okay. Here you go. Sorry, I haven't. Let's see if AI can actually rephrase this. Hang on. Paste. Oh, rephrase. It didn't rephrase anything. Did I put it wrong? Yeah, that's what I use a whole year. The food comes out better. Anyway, with my friends, whole family only use oven, stove, never. I don't like using the microwave, but I have one. I like using it if I don't have to. Why is it giving me so much trouble? It doesn't even do it. AI doesn't even. ChatGPT? Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's. Oh my God. Okay, so that's enough, friends. So let me just select like where is it? Let's do this. This one. Copy. Let's see. Oh, it did actually do it. Thank you, Cowboy Bebop. Let's see. So right now we are dumbing down silent sound spread spectrum. Let's see. Can you like read it? It's a lot. Silent sounds, also known as clear channel, is a technology based on patent and number that sends subliminal messages without the need to compete with normal sounds we can hear. It works by using frequencies just above the range of human hearing. So you don't hear it consciously, but your brain may still pick it up subconsciously. That is why it is called silent sound. How is it used? A hidden speaker can play these silent messages at someone's home or workplace. The messages can be played constantly and the person will be aware they are hearing anything. It can be transmitted through radio, TV signals, or just through a speaker. It doesn't only send words, it can also send emotions, influencing mood and feelings. This kind of emotional influence is called brain entertainment, getting the brain to follow certain patterns. How does it work technically? A voice encoder raises the frequency of a spoken message up to around 14,000 number hertz near the edge of human hearing. To a person, it sounds like a high-pitched tone, not actual words. However, the subconscious mind may still decode the message even though the person can't consciously understand it. Limitations and dangers. On its own, silent sound doesn't work through walls, but it is used with a voice-to-skull transmitter. It could potentially affect someone even through barriers. If a person is easily hypnotized, this kind of signal could slowly change their thinking and personality without them knowing why. They might just hear a faint hiss or tone, but not realize they are being influenced. That's actually pretty good. So notice that this is like easy to understand, but here, now I'm gonna read this in contrast. Silent sound, pantemporal, also called clear channel, it is an improvement over the time slicing subliminal suggestions. It already starts super. What is time slicing subliminal suggestions? Like, what is that? And now it goes. It does not need to compete with other sound to influence the subject because, just beyond human being. Hence, it's needed to clear channel. This channel is beyond, but it's not. Hang on. Oh. Although it hasn't have to develop at its simplest silent sound encoder. I feel lazy to read this. I don't want to read this. Why do I feel lazy? I'm gonna read it because I already said I was gonna read it. Actually, it kind of just rephrased it, but it is, even though I feel like this, hang on. So I feel that the writings in this book are unnecessarily complex. I feel that they are simply written in a way that is not necessarily made to make it clear, but to get your mind tired. Like, to be honest, this book was actually written in such a way that it sends the message. However, it doesn't really make an effort to make it easy to understand. However, to be sincere, those types of sciences are never going to be easy to understand because the technology in itself is convoluted and it is not really well researched. So here, it is possible that the convolution of the text is merely a byproduct of the nature of the technology. However, it does come across as it being made by a con artist, where it is made and it is and thrown at you with so many complicated words to such an extent, to only with the idea to convince you that it's real. However, not with enough evidence to prove to you that it is real. So why is it that there are so many people online that claim to know that this technology exists? Don't have to rephrase it, just ask what does this mean to ChatGPT and it'll explain it to you in full and easy words. If you ask to rephrase, then you'll get because I did get the rephrasing. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it your way. Oh, what does it mean? You can ask if there are any case studies on this fact. Let's see. Oh, so look, first, this passage is describing a controversial and improvement technology called silent sound spread spectrum, clear channel. Here's what it is. Immediately right off the bat, it is telling us that it is unproven. There are no credible peer-reviewed scientific studies that conclusively prove the silent sound spread spectrum as described by Oliver Lawrence patent. Effectively transmits subliminal speech or emotions to inaudible high-frequency sound. So here's the patent. Describes the theological system, voice-driven, modulated. A patent. So look. This is what I keep telling you guys. Yeah, a patent is just a description of an idea, not proof that it works. And notice that there are patents thrown left and right when you are a targeted individual. And people use this as proof. They tell you, yeah, so it is basically sci-fi. You're absolutely right. It is propaganda to throw people off. It is absolute propaganda. So now the good thing about ChatGPT is that it's making it so easier to disprove all of this gobbledygook. So I feel like technology itself, look, I feel like it's making it harder for scam artists to actually fool people. Like it's insane. I wonder if does it copy images? Can I attach? Let me see if I can attach this. Oh no. Can I like attach photos? Oh, I can. Do you think it can? Right, I can patent the idea to have marshmallows and videos. It can review the video image. Do you think it can review the PDF file? Do you know what I mean? Oh, it can. Oh, let's try that. Let's see what it does. This is interesting. So we are actively trying to disprove psychotronic weapons. I didn't think that the stream today was gonna go this way, but this is good. Was that only a shortcut? Oh no, it is a photos and files. Ooh. Are any of these theories? Well, should I ask him about it? Is any of the science proven? The claims in the Targeted Individual Handbook about technologies such as gang stalking, directed energy weapons, voice to school, and mind control via electromagnetic radiation are not supported by credible scientific evidence or proven by reliable sources. Here's the breakdown of the main issues. Okay, so this is actually good. This is really amazing, guys. Great idea for the Chat GPT. Thank you. That it could have not gone better. Let's see. 1. Directed energy weapons. Dues. Can it read it for us? Did I mess it up? Okay, no. Okay, just read it after. Scientific status. There are known directed energy technologies, military grade lasers or microwave-based crowd control tools like active denial system. But these are large, localized, and not capable of secretly targeting individuals in the way the document describes. It's already the internet. All the data in the internet is calling BS. Mind control via microwave. The concept of remotely controlling thoughts or inducing emotions through precisely targeted electromagnetic radiation is theoretical at best, and no public research demonstrates it works as described in the handbook. No, so this is saying there are known directed energy technologies, military grade lasers, that there are. It's saying here that it does. You're right, the Pope. There are. It says here, but these are large, localized, and not capable of secretly targeting individuals in the way the document describes. Yeah, no, so it's saying that, but there are large weapons. They cannot be used secretly. But to be honest, even though ChatGPT is saying that, I cannot help it but to I'm pretty convinced. But and even here it's saying that they cannot be used secretly, targeted individuals. Yeah. And then it says here, mind control via microwave ELF. The concept of remotely controlling thoughts or inducing emotions through precisely targeted electromagnetic radiation is theoretical at best, and no public research demonstrates it works as described in the handbook. No public research. So here, a gang stalkers can be like, well, the research is not public. But I mean, come on. The claim that emotions can be transmitted wirelessly into specific individuals is not scientifically validated. Yeah, I know. You're absolutely right about that, about the whole thing about secret tech. That makes sense. So, voice to school and synthetic telepathy. But it already this is why it's so important to actually look at content like this if you're a targeted individual. Because if you believe that you're being harassed with weapons, fear, it's why? You really think that a bunch of people that are harassing you everywhere are gonna do this secretly when the information of these weapons is not even made to the public? Voice to school technology. So the thing is that that's when you think, what is more likely, that there is a secret group of people with technology that is so secret that there is no trace of it on the internet, there is only myths, and for some random reason I'm actually being attacked with these? Or is it that all the stress, all the harassment is actually causing my mind to go haywire and make me hear voices and feel weird sensations? Which one is it? You know, that is when you actually have to think about it. Which one is more likely? Secret technology from the government or my mind being manipulated to make me hear voices? It's the mind. It's the most logical choice. I honestly did used to feel that direct energy weapons were real at one point. I did. Gang stalking does that. But the thing is that there's an active intent out there to make you believe these theories. There is. Go to any gang stalking channel and you're gonna see a directed energy. You cannot escape the directed energy weapon narrative if you're a targeted individual. And then here we get the Frey effect. Okay, voice code synthetic telepathy, reverse placebo effect. So the thing is that when you're targeted and the voices and the sensations can only be explained by technology, and it feels like it. It feels exactly like if someone is attacking you with a directed energy weapon. It feels like it. It feels something that is so outworldly and unreal that it makes sense that people would make that assumption. It makes sense. However, the truth is that the mind can do that too. And what is more likely, that you're being harassed by the government, or that the harassment is actually causing these weird sensations in your mind and voices? It's the mind. It's the most logical solution. So now we're going to voice to school. This concept typically refers to transmitting sound directly into someone's head using microwave auditory effects, sometimes called the Frey effect. The Frey effect is real in a limited context. People may hear clicking or buzzing with pulse microwave radiation, but it cannot transmit clear voices. So the Frey effect cannot transmit clear voices, conversations, or thoughts in the way the handbook claims. No credible scientific studies have confirmed the ability to send intelligible speech into a person's brain remotely in a way that mimics schizophrenia or mind reading. So why would anyone want to send something that mimics schizophrenia? It is a harassment induced schizophrenia. That is gang stalking. Okay, so now we're doing the next one. Now we're actually going to the gang stalking. Gang stalking and community harassment networks. Allegations of a large-scale coordinated harassment by government or shadow groups involving neighbors, police, strangers, and corporations are unsupported by objective investigations. Law enforcement and mental health experts typically interpret these experiences as stemming from delusional disorders, particularly delusional parasitosis. What is a parasitosis? Or persecutory delusions in paranoid psychosis or schizophrenia. No verified whistleblowers documentation or leaked evidence confirm a global or state-sponsored team operating at this scale. So what this is saying is that there is no such thing as a state-sponsored program. And that's the thing, is that gang stalking is not a global scale. It's not state sponsored. It is nothing. It doesn't have that type of complexity. It's literally rogue groups of people that have a foot in all aspects of life. That's it, and it is real. Like pretty much narcissistic personality disorders and people working with freaking flying monkeys. That is a form of gang stalking. That's literally gang stalking. And like I said before, gang stalking is an infestation of narcissists. But what the ChatGPT is saying, at least what I'm interpreting, correct me if I'm wrong, that the large-scale coordination harassment by governments or shadow groups. I guess shadow groups. So shadow groups, I feel like, involving neighbors, police, strangers, are unsupported and objective investigations. So they are by objective investigations. I don't know what to say to this. I really don't. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, but I experienced it. And the delusional disorders are not because of the person. Gang stalking creates the delusional disorders. That's what you have to understand. And gang stalking harassment leads to psychosis and schizophrenia. Gang stalking is a method to give people schizophrenia. That's what it is. It gives people schizophrenia. It makes them paranoid. So what is the chat saying? But they can't claim it's high frequency so that it's subliminal can understand it. It could be company, religious group, or secret order looking to study humans. Yeah, it's Scientology. Scientology does the same thing. So as long as there is any slight of doubt, as long as it can be denied, it's gonna be denied. Use of unverified or fabricated sources. Okay, look. The document cites pseudoscientific authors, anonymous blogs, conspiracy sites, and even discredited texts like the Protocols of the Elder Zion are known anti-Semitic forgery. It also promotes racist and extremist ideologies, further undermining the credibility of its claims. What is proven? Surveillance technologies. This is a good actually like thing to do. This is actually really good. Interesting. Thanks for studying this subject with earnest. You're welcome. So, surveillance technologies. What is proven? Surveillance technologies, facial recognition, phone tracking, and metadata, okay, collection are real and used by governments and companies. Yeah. Electronic harassment in the form of cyberbullying or doxing does happen. Yeah. However, the types of physical and neurological effects described in the document are not scientifically supported as caused by remote energy weapons or hitting global programs. If you're feeling targeted, let's see. If you someone you know feels if you or someone you know feels they are being targeted or harassed in the ways described, like if you believe that you are being harassed with directed energy weapons, consider speaking with a mental health professional, especially if the experiences are persistent, distressing, or isolating. So it's pretty much telling us, go to the shrink. So look, do I feel like I'm getting gang stalked? If I put myself out there, if I go on like online, and if I don't feel gang stalked anymore because I closed out the gateways. I closed out anything that had to do with the things that allowed gang stalking to come into my life, and that is hanging out with some people. I stopped talking to anyone that would push the gang stalking narrative. Therefore, I'm not getting gang stalked anymore because I stopped all the gang stalkers from having access to me. So I don't feel targeted anymore. However, I know that if I go out there in the world and if I start talking to the same people, I know that I will be targeted again. But I don't feel isolated and I don't feel distressed. I feel fine. These feelings can be real and intense even when there is no external validation, and there are supportive, non-judgmental ways to explore them safely. Would you like a summary of scientific articles or express consensus on a specific technology? Wow, ChatGPT is so amazing. Coughs conspicuously. So let's see. So let's check the other one. So we're already here. Now let's check the other one. Boundaries are So I stopped. That literally stopped all the gang stalking. It literally stopped the gang stalking. So now this is what we are going to do. We are going to check this one. Dr. Bailey. What was the first question? Because that was actually good. Are the claims in this book proven? No, not this one. I want to upload another one. Let's try this one. What is it? It's a PDF file, right? Nah, it's not a PDF. Oh, wrong one. What the hell? Oh, because I didn't download it. My bad. There you go. So here you go. PDF upload. So we're doing the next one, and this one we already checked it out, and and this is what we're doing. So we already checked this one out last time, and we're gonna check it again, and we're gonna see what's up. So the PDF titled Bailey Mind Control by Preston T. Bailey, PhD, contains a mixture of speculative claims, unverified interpretations of patents, and fringe theories. Most of the core claims are not proven by scientific evidence or reputable sources. Here's a breakdown of what's real, what's speculative, and what's unproven. Notice that anything that has to do with gang stalking, none of it is proven. Not even its mere existence. Which is crazy, don't you think? Directed energy weapons. So what makes it real is if enough people talk about it. Like, notice that like a lot of us actually believe that directed energy weapons were being used against us, which is insane. So existence, I feel like we already said this. Directed energy weapons existent, yes, they exist. Active denial system, laser dazzlers, long-range aquatic coasters purpose, used for crowd control, military applications, non-lethal deterrence. Limitations. These do not have remote mind control abilities, and they are not secretly used on civilians as claimed in the document. Okay. Patents mentioned. Some listed patents are real on the neurophone, but patents don't prove functionality. Anyone can file speculative tech. And many are conceptual and never built or scientifically validated. Hysterical programs. MK Ultra, a real CIA program in 1950-1970, investigating mind control using drugs and hypnosis. It was shut down, and it is not evidence of advanced remote technologies. So a lot of people keep using MK Ultra as evidence. Like, it's insane. NASA surveillance. Real programs exposed by a student, but they don't involve mind control microwave weaponry. What is not or is misrepresented. Claims of reading or controlling thought via satellites, microwaves, or EMF are not scientifically proven. No credible evidence shows that the NSA or SCIA can decode brainwaves remotely or implant thoughts. voice to skull, synthetic telepathy. Microwave auditory effects exist, the Fourier effect, but they produce clicks or tones, not clear speech. They cannot transmit complex messages into people's heads. Psychotronic weapons. Russia has discussed such ideas, and some papers exist speculating about EM-based weapons, but there is no verifiable evidence that psychotronic weapons are being used to control or torture civilians. The technologies described as reading thoughts via satellite are beyond current scientific capability. The technologies described are beyond current scientific capability. So the tech is not even there yet. Targeted individuals mind control via RFID nanotech. No verified medical or law enforcement investigations have confirmed that civilians are being covertly implanted and remotely verified. Like, if this had been going on, we would already know. There is no way people would be tortured and us not know. These beliefs often correlate with delusional disorders, paranoid schizophrenia, and require compassionate support, not validation of improving science. So last time that someone was saying, "Why do you keep?" So I blocked someone whom I actually cared a lot for. I told him what I felt from gang stalking, the sensations, and then he said, "Well, those sensations are evidence that you're being harassed with directed energy weapons." And I was like, "Nah, dude, no, actually, it's my mind." He kept insisting, "Keep your mind open." He wanted to believe that the directed energy weapons were actually being used on me, and he was actually pushing this. I blocked him because I thought he was a gang stalker. But then I checked his Facebook, and he published my videos talking about gang stalking on his Facebook page. So I apologized, but I blocked him because I felt. And I even told him to not speak to me. I think you guys were here, and I told him that I wasn't going to keep my mind open, because keeping my mind open to the point where I believed in the existence of directed energy weapons actually harmed me more than good. It's like there's a point where you do not have to, where you don't open your mind too much. Like, open it to an idea that will help you. But in gang stalking, if you are too susceptible to intaking these crazy ideas, you're going to end up hurting yourself a lot more than you are doing a benefit. So gang stalking is already as an impossibility as it is. Now imagine keeping your mind so open that you actually keep the possibility of directed energy weapons being used on you being open. But the interesting thing is that these people open their mind to the directed energy weapon, but when I say, "Oh no, it's your mind," a lot of them close their mind and prefer to believe on the directed energy weapon narrative, because it's more sensational. A lot of the people that make gang stalking content are gonna keep talking about directed energy weapons, and they're gonna keep pushing the narrative because it creates clicks, it creates an interesting narrative, and the point that is that, "Oh, it's your mind," that just takes all the fun of it. When I was doing gang stalking content, when I was making the YouTube channel, I actually pondered the question: should I keep saying that directed energy weapons are real, that I'm being attacked to create clicks, or no? And I decided not to, because I'm creating the channel to help people, and I don't regret it one bit. But preferring to try believing that directed energy weapons are being used on you, and ignoring the possibility that you could be hearing voices because the actual gang stalking harassment is what created the voices, is insane to me. It's really insane. So red flags in the document. There are some truths, because it brings attention to gang stalking. The truth that I do believe is that a lot of the people that claim that directed energy weapons are being used on them is that they believe that directed energy weapons are being used on them. Look at what happened to Marvin May. He believed that directed energy weapons were used on him, but let me tell you, it feels like they are. It just feels, but it's not that. It's the gang stalking harassment that creates these persecutory delusions. So red flags: heavy reliance on conspiracy-based websites, blogs, fringe YouTube channels, references to female camps, RFID implanting, and New World Order theories, hallmarks of long debunked conspiracies. So the whole thing with the New World Order, I used to love this stuff. I watch the Zeitgeist. I watch a lot of these videos, and they're so interesting to watch. However, do you guys remember when COVID happened, and then all these conspiracy theories were coming out, where we were meant to not talk to anyone, and the actual New World Order actually taking place, where we're gonna start, where all the different coins of the world we're gonna dissolve, and we're gonna have only one coin or one currency. That was like the liftoff of the New World Order. But it ended up being all right. Like the years happened, and now we're fine. Like there's all these theories are being created. Citations from non-peer reviewed sources, some which have been proven to be hoaxes or misinformation. See, there's a lot of misinformation. Summary: are any of the claims proven? Directed energy weapon exists? Yes, but not for mind control. Are RMR remote mind reading insertion via AMF and not scientifically proven. Voice to school, not capable of transmitting speech. See, there's sounds that can be transmitted, but not speech, guys. So V2K, literally, it's right off the bat. No. V2K is no right off the bat. Right off the bat. Psychotronic weapons in military use, non-confirmed operational use. MK Ultra mind control, real historical drug base, now defunct. RFID implants for population control, no evidence for this practice. Target individuals, no verification of a government program, target individuals. So the thing is that people are looking for a government program. Like ChatGPT is looking for a governmental, a governmentally funded program for gang stalking. And no, it is not governmentally founded. It is a bunch of narcissists, and that's the truth. FEMA camps for citizens, a long-standing and unfounded conspiracy theory. So FEMA camps are conspiracy theories. Just know that. If you're interested, I can also provide academic scientific references that explain the limitations of these technologies and the technological interpretations of targeted individuals' experiences. Sure. Hey, what's up? Okay, so we're gonna check this out, and we're gonna keep going. So we got here the next, and it says scientific perspective. So we're getting a clear breakdown of scientific evidence and psychological explanations that address the claims made in the document of that professor. And it goes as follows. Scientific perspective. Directed energy weapons exist? Yes. These include microwave weapons, lasers, and acoustic devices used for military crowd control. Scientific facts. Actually, let me do something real quick. Hang on. Oh no, I can't be doing that. Sorry. I was gonna change the screens, but I'll have to do that when I'm not streaming because I have the bigger screen on my smaller monitor. There you go. Okay. So scientific facts. Active denial system. U.S. military causes a heating sensation on the skin to repel people non-lethally. So there is an active denial system. U.S. military causes heating sensation on the skin. Let's see what's active denial. Let's see that. It's cool that it exists. Maybe we can even get a picture. A non-lethal directed energy weapon that uses millimeter waves to create a painful but not harmful heating sensation on the surface of the target's skin. It's designed to repel individuals by causing an immediate and intense burning sensation, forcing them to move away from the source. See, it's to make you move away. So if you move, it's gonna go away. The ADS is primarily intended for force protection, perimeter defense, and crowd control, offering non-lethal option for situations where lethal force is not desired. I had no idea this existed. Let's look at it.
In our military forces.
About 7 football fields to give it some perspective. It can deter individuals on a military perimeter all the way up to a riotous crowd, all without permanent harm.
It only penetrates 1/64 of an inch of your skin, goes very shallow into where your nerve receptors are, and there's no...
Look at how big it is. That looks like an Eldar.
Very safe system. We built in some safety margins. Training for the operators.
How cool.
They even let any of the guests volunteer to test out its effectiveness and safety. Including the Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, and Assistant Secretary of the Navy. Most described it as feeling like a hot oven or grill being opened up.
It is something that, once again, probably the safest system that we've developed is
but look at it.
Capability.
Look
From
at
Washington, I'm Sergeant.
There is, but look at that thing. Like, look at how big that thing is. Look at that thing. It's like, people are gonna notice if there is one of those things around your house. You know what I mean? It's like the government is not gonna be harassing people with these. Like, that makes no sense. So, like, for real. Oh no, we're checking. No. Oh, okay. So yeah, so it exists, but it's huge. So look. Limits. They cannot be used covertly through walls, do not read minds, and are not silent or undetectable. and it's publicly available. It's publicly available, guys. What is this? What the hell is this? I thought that was. So this is just a communist safe space. Astronaut care. It's for astronauts. I mean, yeah, not just directed energy weapons, but for gang stalking. Yeah. So, do you really think that a group of rogue people are not gonna have these things just laying around? Like that makes absolutely no sense. You know what I mean? So look. Small soldiers told us best EMF things is a thing. What do you mean? So now we're going here and it says microwave auditory effect, the Frey effect exists? Yes, to a degree. Okay, scientific facts. But then look, when we go on, look, let me show you something. Oh, I'm gonna show you my channel. I know, I'm sorry, but I have to show you. People are actively, like on here, you get people talk about directed energy weapons like they know exactly what it is. So look, what I think
hey,
is
what's up, guys? I found this beer left over from some campers and I'm totally wasted.
Have you guys seen this before?
What I think is they figured out what frequency causes blood sugar level to spike remotely. Like, look at all of these impositions. The technology the police use is actually software that cannot be uninstalled unless they uninstall it. It is also used and probably based off corporate internet networking where it logs in computers, routes them to their Exis service or cloud, and they can come in our computers anytime they feel like it. And like, listen to the language. So seems to be their main hack to is DNS hijacking SSL tunnels because I can't seems to stop them and I still have internet. So listen to this. Listen how these people talk and listen to how the scam language sounds.
Next to it, on the source of technogenic radiation or between the biological object and the source. Here's a fancy diagram if all of that was too complicated for you.
Does that diagram look familiar? Doesn't it look like the diagrams that we get on the books of gang stalking? Does it look familiar to that? You know what I mean? Like anyone can grab a freaking some assets and then just put him like that. Even though let me tell you, so these pictures look really interesting. Yeah, so I want to check something. Where did this originate? Where does that image come from? No, is it? Hang on. How to clip an image? Try open image in preview. No. It did. How? Open image in preview. It's not the image. Clip. Shift Command +4. To capture selected portion of your Mac screen, use the keyboard shortcut Shift Command +4. What did it save? Hang on. What did it save? Where the hell does it save? On your desktop, PNG file on your desktop. I did it. It wasn't there. Oh, the other desktop. Here it is. I get it. On my primary monitor. Hang on. So let's see if we can find where that image is originally, because it's like, where did they even get that? Every time I try to have a relationship, something seems to happen with the person they always push away at some point. Yaya's Godland MK Ultra from 1955 here. Hello. How's it going? Printable. Where did they even originate? We've just freaking gotten into Pandora box. Oh my god, it was on WordPress. It took me to the handbook. So, oh my god, we come across more of these. This is all like, apparently conspiracy websites are a thing. That is such a good picture, by the way. That image is like perfect. So it's like, these are like for entertainment. Don't you guys think? I feel like these are meant to be, like someone is actually putting these together. Aliens, reptilians. The thing is that these actually, like when you're getting targeted, the worst thing that you can do, look at it, the Hello Kitty cap. The worst thing that you can do is actually, the worst thing that you can do is look this stuff up. This stuff is so, it's like a junk. It's like McDonald's for your brain. So now it's like the same thing here, It's like McDonald's for your brain. And the thing is that some people are so good that someone can be made to spend $800 on a freaking piece of plastic.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Like this person.
Is that a really fancy way of just saying like wear it?
It's a fancy way of saying we're full of and we want it to be really hard to disprove what we're saying.
Well, what if you placed it wrong?
Prove this, yeah.
Did you guys hear that? We want to make it really hard for you to disprove what we're saying. And that's what gang stalking is all about. It's about making it hard to disprove. The gang stalking narrative about directed energy weapons is meant to be hard for you to disprove. And people are trying to prevent you from disproving it.
It's a fancy way of saying we're full of and we want it to be really hard to disprove what we're saying.
Well, what if you placed it wrong?
Prove this, yeah. If my head hurts, does that mean it's not working? What we can glean from this masterclass in technobabble is that
Technobabble.
the RF radiation that's around us isn't compatible with our body, but the LifeTune converts that RF radiation to coherent radiation that is compatible with our bodies. What's coherent radiation, you ask? Well, basically a laser beam, meaning that if this explanation is correct, then the LifeTune takes your Wi-Fi router and turns it into more like a Wi-Fi laser, which is safer somehow. No, it's not. And obviously, these changes to your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth would make them stop functioning. And also, AirsTech would get a call from the FCC. Yeah. Now, AirsTech, who we did reach out to, by the way, were quick to point out that they have 22 patents on the design and peer-reviewed studies that support their claims. But there are only industrial design patents in the USA, Canada, and Europe. All of the functionality patents are filed in Russia only. And taking a quick look at their peer-reviewed studies, yep, they're published as opinions, not as facts. In an attempt to see just what might be going on here with the LifeTune, we chucked it into our LumaField CT scanner for an afternoon to have a look inside it non-destructively. What we learned is that, although it does admittedly look kinda cool, and the design is actually made of metal, which is something, there is no physical connection between their silicon processor and the rest of the scamulet, which until now we assumed was some sort of antenna, since it turns out that fractal antennas are actually a thing. Before we put the LifeTune through our most conclusive test, we want to be serious for a second and discuss the safety of electromagnetic radiation, because we did gloss over some of the potential dangers earlier. At high enough frequencies, like X-rays, EM radiation can be very dangerous. We call this ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation has the potential to cause cancer and generally make you ill, which is why sunscreen is so important. But once we get into the visible light spectrum and below, and your Wi-Fi and cell phone signals are way below, these concerns go away. But that doesn't mean that they can't be dangerous. By definition, your Wi-Fi router is a microwave, which sounds pretty scary, but it really isn't. The dangerous thing about microwaves, and non-ionizing radiation in general, is heat. This is why you don't want to remove the door from your microwave and turn it on. It will literally cook you. But that doesn't mean that your Wi-Fi router will do the same. First of all, the amount of power is vastly different. A microwave for cooking will have an output of around 1200 watts, whereas a Ubiquiti U7 outputs maybe 120 thousandths of a watt. Also, a microwave for cooking is tuned to 2.45 gigahertz, which happens to be the frequency that water molecules like to jiggle at. So almost all of that energy will be turned into heating up water, whereas your communication devices will specifically avoid that frequency because, well, humans are made of water. It is worth noting, though, that unlike Wi-Fi routers, radio towers can legitimately be dangerous. They reach much higher power levels and they can cook you if you are close enough to them, causing your eyeballs to turn opaque and giving you a pretty bad headache because
they can cook you if you are close enough. And like, listen, like that makes sense, right? But look at how big the antenna needs to be. And look at how, like, when you are like a targeted individual, we are being pushed all of these crazy theories. Watch. We're being pushed. Where is it? Like, they even show us like pictures, dude. Like that. So this, that we are like being like a microwave, supposedly, by microwave. You know, by increasing the field intensity of the radiation to cause local hotspots in the victim's eyes and gallbladder. Like, for anyone to feel the heat, did you see the big machine? The military machine that we saw earlier? Like, it is that big for anyone to feel a little bit of heat. So, and you're telling me that now that people are being harassed like this from an open microwave, and we already saw that microwaves cannot go through walls. We already said that it literally cannot go through walls, dude. Like, why do you think a microwave has a plastic door? If microwave radiation cannot go through a plastic door, do you think it's gonna go through a wall? Like, that makes no sense. So what about this one? 5G towers are everywhere. They are close. So why is he not crying? Why is he there just hanging out?
Hey, your brain doesn't like being heated up. What makes these towers safe, though, is the inverse square law.
Listen.
Anything radiating omnidirectionally decreases in intensity by the square of the distance. So, practically speaking, a 5G antenna is only about 5 watts. So, you should be fine as soon as you're about a meter or so back.
Do you hear that? 5G towers everywhere. You're not one. You don't leave 1 meter away from a 5G antenna. You were literally disproven right here. He literally just said it, dude. 1 meter, a 5G antenna.
Your brain doesn't like being heated up. What makes these towers safe, though,
Whatever.
is the inverse square law. Anything radiating omnidirectionally decreases in intensity by the square of the distance. So, practically speaking, a 5G antenna is only about 5 watts. So, you should be fine as soon as you're about a meter or so back. And for a radio tower, just don't climb the tower and you'll be receiving less radiation than what a light bulb on your desk would be outputting.
Did you see? You're gonna be, if you are a meter away from any 5G antenna, you're gonna feel less radiation than if you were from a light bulb. Than heat that you would receive from a light bulb, dude. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, 1 meter is not that far. Research infrared cameras used by police to look through walls. Yes, I heard of those, but they're only supposed to use those under investigation.
Getting back to the Ares Tech, though, we've got one big problem. All of the claims that they're making
We're gonna
about
check
it
out
are
the-
non-falsifiable.
We're gonna check out the infrared cameras.
That is all the ones we've looked at so far. They do have these graphs on their site about the field strength that seem to show how the life tune will develop special waves above the resonator. I mean, they don't have any units or proper descriptions of anything, so what exactly it is they're showing
that's
is
a
hard to
lie.
tell.
Stop
But
saying that.
We're gonna
They
try
can
our
use your
best
router to watch
see
you
if
at
we can
home.
replicate these results. And to do so,
You're being paranoid.
we
Stop
went
being
out
so
and
paranoid.
got this RF spectrum analyzer from Sweetwater. The main purpose of this is for audio professionals
You're just
who
trying
need
to
make
make
sure
people
that
more
their wireless
paranoid, dude.
audio packs will work even in an arena filled with tens of thousands of people. But
The thing about gang stalking is that it keeps everyone fighting against everyone. Like, it keeps targets fighting against targets. And the thing is that everyone pretends to be a target. Everyone pretends to be a target and to be like, oh yeah, I'm getting harassed with 5G, I'm getting. But then there's people that actually feel that they're being harassed with your energy weapons. And now we just play, would you think that they're just messing with us? It's insane. It's crazy how it works out.
it should also work pretty well to let us know if the Ares Tech is doing literally anything to a waveform. To give us a nice, strong signal in a controlled environment, we're inside our Raymond EMC chamber, and we've got...
So I'm not saying that what I'm saying though is that in gang stalking, the belief in directed energy weapons makes everything so much harder, because you will get to a point where you believe that your brain will literally create sensations and voices, and if you believe and if you follow all of this BS, all of these hoaxes, you are literally gonna destroy your own mind, because you're gonna believe that the government is after you. You're like Myron May. Myron May actually just ended up killing people, dude. Yeah, but the thing is that well, it makes Bebop says, well, it makes you doubt things you've seen before. They just add stress by making you think they can do more to you. Yeah, no. So the thing is that because you believe that they are causing these weird things inside of your mind, you feel that you don't have any control. So the moment that you just simply don't feel like you have any control, you're not gonna try to address the primary thing that is at fault, which is the fact that your mind is being messed with to such an extent that you are hearing voices. Like you don't really realize the fact that it is your mind being manipulated to hear those things. It takes your power away from you. Gang stalking takes the power away from the person. Like, you literally are made to lose your mind. Like, you literally lose your mind. I forgot that I was supposed to make a video today about how it feels to lose your mind, because I lost my mind. I actively lost my mind. Like, I literally was made to lose my mind. Was a search sensor and not a government program. So I cannot recall what that is off the bat of my right off the top of my head. We already went over that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what search sensor. I know I already looked it, but I didn't really give it much importance. Almost like drug use, you want happiness, but you don't address your bad habits or bad actions that make you unhappy, like holding on to a touch. Yeah, so gang stalking, like, as long as you believe that the voices and the sensations and the pain are from technology, you are not going to be able to take care of your mind because you don't know that there's anything wrong with your mind. So the fact that the theories about the directed energy weapons that take away at the power of the target to be like, oh, there's something happening to my mind, something gang stalking, something is happening to my mind, and that's why gang stalkers are pushing directed energy weapons so hard, because as long as you believe that you're being harassed with directed energy weapons, you are not gonna do the obvious, which is to sleep, rest, and stay away from the stressful environment. And it sounds like loud, but I was in my room, and when I went out to the living room, nobody was. No, it's a hallucination. I've had auditory hallucinations. Yeah, and it wasn't in my head. Yeah, it's insane, and it's so real. It sounds like it's out of you, and you can almost hear where it's coming from. I learned how to control the auditory hallucinations. That's the only reason that I was able to get out of it, because I was able to move the hallucinations around. I literally learned how to change the hallucinations. Did I pause this? Oh yeah, I paused it. Okay, good. Okay, so now we're gonna keep going on here, and let's see scientific facts. Microwave frequencies cannot transmit clear words or thoughts. So source, Frey AH auditory system responds to modulated electromagnetic energy. DARPA and Army reports have studied the effect but found very limited potential. Patents on mind control devices exist. Many patents exist on theoretical devices. Reality check. A patent does not mean technology works or was even built. Many were filed with speculative or imaginative concepts that are physically unproven. Example, U.S. patent number, neurophone, never validated by peer-reviewed studies. Psychological, clinical explanations, persecutory delusions of target individuals. Many people reporting targeting experiences may be suffering from paranoid schizophrenia, delusional disorder, post-traumatic stress. One thing that no one has ever talked about, like I feel like this is the first time where it has been talked about on the internet, is that gang stalking creates paranoid schizophrenia, delusional disorders, and post-traumatic stress. Gang stalking creates that. Those are the byproduct of a person that has been targeted. However, the paranoia and the schizophrenia is limited to the technology narrative and limited to the harassment of to the voices being caused by a group of stalkers. So the post says, for a time I would control the action in my dreams. When one day I decided to stop because I felt it was eerie. I started feeling weird, like I was being tricked into following this entity that follows. No, it's insane. With things about the mind, so you were having lucid dreams. So these conditions can cause very real feeling experiences, including the belief of being followed or monitored, hearing voices, auditory hallucinations, feeling thoughts that are being stolen or influenced. Yeah, so you feel like your thoughts are not yours anymore. The Pope says, me, every time where I went in the dream and taught me to float within my dream, and I can fly around, but that's so cool. Sources, the DSM-5 and Psychiatry Journals of Psychosis, not otherwise specified. So why experiences feel so real? The brain can generate sensory experiences, sounds, visions. So the brain can generate sensory experiences, sounds, visions, and physical sensations with no external cause. This is important as hell. The brain can generate experiences, sounds, visions, and physical sensations with no external cause. This is what you have to understand about the directed energy narrative. That your brain can produce these sensations without external cause. However, gang stalking is the cause for the brain to produce these visions, sounds, and sensations. That is what is not talked about. Is that the external cause for your brain to generate the sensory experiences that are so real is gang stalking. Gang stalking is the missing link with the narrative of directed energy weapons. Gang stalking harassment itself is the cause that creates the realistic experiences that make the brain generate sensory experiences that feel real. Additionally, under stress or trauma, the brain may try to make sense of vague or ambiguous sensations. So that is how the brain is trying to make sense of the sensations. Because the sensations are ambiguous. It's like you hear a weird voice. It's like, oh, why am I hearing voices? And people do not have all the context of that gang stalking literally creates people. It literally creates auditory hallucinations. It creates voices. And here it goes. Sometimes creates complex narratives. I'm being targeted by a satellite. So the complex narratives is actually actively being fed to the targets via gang stalking. Gang stalkers are implying, like, if they're talking in between themselves, they do the ear thing and they're like, yeah, he's recording. I've seen that. They control the narrative by pretending to be bugging your phone, by going like this with a camera, and try to make it appear like they're recording you. That's how people are made paranoid. The paranoid delusions are made because the gang stalkers are creating this alternate narrative to your reality. Gang stalkers are trying to pull you in a psychosis. It's a trick. It's a big trick where everyone is acting around you to make you believe something. I literally had people like at work being like, "Oh, damn it, he's not believing the narrative." Like, I literally had people at work, especially Maximus. He was like, "Oh my god, why is it not working?" And I was just like, "What are you guys talking about?" And then everyone just looked at each other like disappointed, which is crazy. But gang stalkers will play they will be like, "Damn it," they will play that. They will play out the fact, like the act that they're gang stalking you because they're acting out an alternate narrative to your reality. And the thing is that because so many people are involved in it, your brain believes it. There's something that you snap. There's something in your brain that snaps that make you believe this. So this is not a matter of intelligence. Many educated people can develop these symptoms due to stress, isolation, and neurological changes. What you can do to be targeted? Let's see, what can ChatGPT tell us? Whether the experience is rooted in technology or perception. So see, it's even addressing that it can be by that perception. So gang stalking literally is a bunch of people controlling your perceptions of what's happening around you. So like, people are creating a narrative. They're controlling your perceptions. That's what it is. Gang stalking is when a bunch of people control your perception of your reality. That's it. And the way to get out of gang stalking is to eliminate the control of your perceptions that these people have on you. Avoid echo chambers. Online communities that reinforce improving beliefs can increase anxiety and isolation. Do you guys feel like I am an echo chamber? Like, for real? Like, do you guys believe that I'm okay and I am an echo chamber, or do you guys feel that I'm actually trying to straighten out your perception of reality? Seek grounding techniques. Mindfulness, journaling, limiting stress, and physical activity often help. Cowboy Bebop says, one day next to me while I was filling out a orientation paperwork, and he whispered that I suck and played it off like they didn't say it, that they didn't say that, but if I freak out, they're gonna just deny they say that. No, they say that. They say that so that you will accuse them and then they're gonna call you crazy. I know exactly what it is. That's why they're gonna be like, you're crazy, I didn't say anything. Final thought. Many of the technologies described in Preston Bailey document have some distant basis in science, but the conclusions drawn go far beyond what is proven or even plausible. Meanwhile, the emotional distress described by a self-identified targeted individual deserves empathy and support regardless of the origin. Okay, so we're done with ChatGPT right now. I don't know, you seem pretty reasonable-minded to stay realistic. I want to keep you guys, my mission is to help you guys understand gang stalking and to pretty much, tell you guys of what it is. I just came out of the gang stalking narrative of directed energy weapons, and I was able to snap right back on where I left. Once I understood that it was a bunch of people trying to create an impulse of me making wrong choices, only then I was able to stay out of it. So that's what you have to understand. Once you understand gang stalking, you are going to steer inevitably onto the right direction, because you're obviously going to be angry that a bunch of people tried to destroy you. So what you're going to do is you're going to actively try to do nothing that can hurt you in the slightest. Like, I'm actively stepping out of, I stopped smoking because of gang stalking, because I don't want to do anything that will take any of my days alive away. No.
Jake's older brother, Alex. I'm seeing double. Just a joke. The point is that he's brought along whatever this is.
The RF Explorer handheld RF signal generator.
Okay, that seems pretty self-explanatory. Okay, and Alex has, well, that thing we just showed you. So do you want to give us a quick demo of what it's supposed to do?
On the signal generator here, we're generating at 146.4 megahertz. We have an output power of +3 dBm.
I'm sorry that you have to gone through. Do you have
which is showing up on the RF Explorer Pro as a, as we get closer, a -60 dBm, -58 dBm signal.
Right, but I'm safe from that right now.
Absolutely.
Great, perfect. Because of my amulet.
Uh-huh.
Some of them might be gullible enough. Just say no.
Absolutely not.
Perfect. Boom. He presses the button, it's gone. Presses again, there it is. Of course, everything we've looked at so far is with the Aries Tech amulet in the chamber. What we need to find out now is, I need yours too. Jeez. Wow,
Thank you for stopping by.
Almost boy band look if he actually has the hat on and kind of cleans it up a little bit. Anyway, the point is, what we need to see now is if we remove the Aries Tech from the chamber, will that change? So you guys hold as still as you can. One moment. Yeah!
Oh.
Ta-da!
Wow, it didn't do anything.
All right, well, we kind of knew that was coming, didn't we?
You want to bring it back in one more time?
I don't know where it is.
Why did you throw them so hard?
Because I thought it would be funny. You laughed, didn't you?
Okay, we do need to go get them.
Do we? Oh, wow, I almost hit you with it. We found one.
If this has been a really late on B-roll video, it's because Linus lost it. I'm sorry. I noticed that on those...
So notice all the parallels with gang stalking narrative, with the gang stalking narrative of directed energy weapons, and the narrative of someone that is trying to sell you something really expensive that evidently doesn't actually do anything.
Graphs that we were looking at, it mentions that it's measured from
parallels are
0.02 millimeters above the silicon resonator.
Oh, the silicon resonator, you say?
Yes, which means that we need to get closer to this to prove once and for all that it's not doing anything.
Have we not proven this yet?
Do you want to like take a knife and a file to it? Because I kind of really do.
Okay. Oh my God, this resin it's tough. You got to give them credit. It's
I don't know, you can mark it with a fingernail, so.
You know what? It's not tough. That's what's making it so hard to file. What if we could crush it? Do you think we could crush it? Okay, everyone cover your eyes. Safety squints.
Safety squints.
That's kind of what I intended to do.
That didn't explode. If that was a silicon actual processor, I'm almost certain it would have exploded right there.
Cut towards your chum, not your thumb.
Yeah.
You can get a new chum, but not a new thumb.
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah. There we go. Let's go. Moral of the story: never be Alex's chum. Wow, nice cutting, Alex. You are like right above it.
Wow.
Dude, nice. So we go test it again then.
Yeah.
The idea now then would be that if I put this right next to the antenna, it should something, right?
Yeah, just like literally anything would be kind of nice.
Okay, it's right on it, dude. It's right on it. Are my harmony chakras aligned? I bet if we gave it another little crush, now that we've worn away so much of it. Safety squints. Okay.
I feel like there is an entire industry for pseudoscience. It's insane.
She did break. It may actually be made out of silicon or something. Oh, no, you nailed it. I think it is graphite. No, that could be silicon. I think without just actually analyzing it, that would be hard to say for sure. If you genuinely believe that 5G or Wi-Fi radiation is bad for you, I'm probably not going to win that argument right now. What I can do is I can tell you that this and anything short of this is complete horse snake oil. So turn your router off, but then you wouldn't see this segue to our sponsor, Rocket Money.
Oh, hell no. I hate it when they give false hope. What do you mean? What do you mean, the Pope? When they, what do you mean by that? So, guys, you simply have to understand that gang stalking is a lot of science fiction, a lot of pseudoscience, and a lot of unnecessary, how do you say? If you're a targeted individual, people are gonna try to convince you of something that is really hard to prove wrong or to prove that it doesn't exist. Just like this person, just proved to us with actual evidence. But notice all the work that they have to do and all the equipment that they had in order to prove that a little freaking amulet wasn't really doing anything. Notice all the equipment that they had to do. They even had to do a chamber. Any targeted individual would love to have that person as a friend to be able to use that equipment to prove to themselves that they are or are not being attacked with directed energy weapons. However, most of the people, most targets do not have any of that. They simply don't, and they probably never will, because they don't need that. Some people actually go ahead and they buy the EMF, but the EMF reader, but they typically never actually learn how to read it. It just beeps, you know. So one thing that you have to understand is that gang stalking is a bunch of people harassing you, and with time, the harassment is gonna create your mind. It's gonna make you have paranoid delusions. It's gonna make you hear voices, and you're gonna go online most likely and try to find out more about gang stalking. And once you get to the gang stalking content, you're gonna find the inescapable comments and the inescapable narrative of directed energy weapons. And notice that there's theories, hoaxes, conspiracy theories being thrown at targets, but all of that is hard to disprove. All of these things are hard to disprove. However, to a target, because you hear a weird voice, because you feel weird sensations, you're gonna believe that all of those theories are true because you feel the evidence. However, you have to understand that the voices and the weird sensations, the only evidence that they actually are of is of your mind being broken down. Before assuming and before actually accepting the existence of directed energy weapons, or accepting that directed energy weapons are being used on you, you are better off accepting that all the stress caused by gang stalking is actually is what is making you hear voices. It's logically, it makes sense. If directed energy weapons were meant, if directed energy weapons were actually being used on targets, they wouldn't need to harass targets for many years. All they would need to do is simply point the thing at the person, and you saw how immediate the effects were in the video that we covered. From the military, where they had the actual device and they actually pointed it at people, and the people just like ran away, you know. And you saw that machine would not be used inconspicuously. So you have to understand that gang stalking, just like these theories, are hard to prove and or hard to disprove. And the only thing that you can depend on is your own intuition. And the only way to actually get out of that is if, for example, if you got rid of the people that you feel that were gang stalkers, if you stop engaging where you used to engage, where the gang stalking harassment used to happen, if you take these away and your gang stalking stopped, like mine did, and then weeks later the voices went away, and then weeks later the physiological sensations of directed energy weapons went away, that means that you are on the right path. So if you are getting targeted, you have to understand that you have an infestation of narcissists. If you feel that your life is going downhill, if you all of a sudden find yourself making wrong choices, wonder, when did this happen? And who new has come into my life that I began doing these choices? I didn't know that I was hanging out with a bunch of people that didn't have good intentions towards me. And the moment that I got rid of those, that I did burn those bridges, my life has changed for the better. So the first thing that you do when you're getting targeted is to take care of your mind and to set boundaries. To set a lot of boundaries. That's actually what I had to do. And I am doing good now. And it's going to take me a couple of years to have the body I had before, to have the life that I had before, you know. However, the most important lesson that I learned from that is to, if anyone comes into my life and all of a sudden I start making bad choices, you know, why am I allowing myself to be influenced in a negative manner by this person? So I simply, when you are close to someone and you know that all of a sudden you are doing things that are actually making your life worse, you need to stay away from those people, because the power of influence is so big that someone can literally influence you into destroying yourself, which is something that you have to understand, is that people around you control your perceptions. So, and gang stalkers know this. They are actively trying to control your perceptions for you to make the wrong choices. All right? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.